Hello, everyone. My name is Candace Smith, and I'm here today in honor of National Black HIV, AIDS, and Awareness Day. I decided to have this talk, and through MAACA. MAACA is an organization that's Florida-based, and it's basically like the hub that empowers a lot of community action programs in a lot of different counties to have conversations like this and to provide ways for people to get tested for HIV and AIDS. And so today, February 7th, as I said, is National Black HIV, AIDS, and Awareness Day. And so we want to do just that. We want to bring awareness to where we're at when it comes to this fight with HIV and AIDS. And so I have a few videos queued up to share. I have my phone here too as a backup. So in case, I have issues sometimes with my computer and stuff like that. So just in case I have some technical issues, I'm gonna switch to my phone, and I'll probably just have to read this information. But I was able to find some very informative videos that I would love to share. So this first one is just gonna go over why we have this day, and it's only like a minute. And this video was actually, I think, made today. So let me find it really quick. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, I think it's right here. Make sure I share the sound. Let me know if you can see this. Can you see it? Thumbs up if you can. If you can see it. Can you see the video, Kenny? Oh, okay, I see thumbs up. Thanks. All right, here we go. Let me know if you hear sound.
Every day, more than 30,000 people in Metro Atlanta live with HIV or AIDS, and these numbers disproportionately impact Black and brown communities. Today, the nation pauses to acknowledge the disparities in care. The latest data shows 40 to 50% of all new HIV diagnoses are in Black Americans, and Georgia continuously ranks in the top 3 for new diagnoses. Imara Kennedy with the AIDS Healthcare Foundation says National Days of Awareness help to recognize and elevate the work that still needs to be done.
It is understanding that there is still work to do in this community. It is understanding that, just to say, well, I'm not going to deal with it, it'll go away. Well, it's not going away. And what it's doing with us not dealing with it and knowing our status and getting tested is that we are continuing to see more and more Black Americans and Black Georgians and Black Atlantans be impacted by a diagnosis of HIV and AIDS.
Kennedy says destigmatizing HIV could have a profound impact on preventing some more diagnoses. He says using protection, getting tested, and having access to ongoing care can all make the difference. If you or someone you know cannot afford treatment, the AIDS Healthcare Foundation may be able to help. We have all the information you need to know on our website, 11alive.com.
I, Julian Gordon, with this mortgage, relinquish part of my freedom to...
No, thank you. I think we're done with that. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I know my camera is being really crazy right now, and I apologize about that. It's been acting up, so I'm just going to stop showing my video for 1 second so it can have a chance to break. But I wanted to share just that clip so we can see what the purpose of this day is for. And as the gentleman was saying, it's an opportunity for us to see where we're at when it comes to HIV and AIDS. And so where are we at? We're in Florida. That news clip came out of Atlanta, and, that clip came out of Atlanta for a reason, because the numbers are high in Atlanta. And so in Florida, what I guess I want to share and talk about next is some data that came out last year. And USA Today wrote an article about highlighting Black women when it comes to HIV and AIDS. And so basically, when it comes to new cases, we are in the lead. We're the number one for new cases for HIV and AIDS. And I kind of want to have some interaction, see first if you all want to take a guess as to why that is. What are your thoughts on that when you hear that Black women are leading in new cases? Does anybody want to share what that makes you think or feel, or why you think that is? Okay, well, that's totally fine. Let's find out why. So I'm going to go to this next video. And okay, first of all, I want to go to this article. So I'm going to share my screen again, and you all let me know.
Computers on, working, people talking.
What was that? Somebody said something. Oh, I thought I heard somebody say something. All right, so here we go. Let me know if you can see this. Okay, thanks for the thumbs up. So the article that came out by USA Today was actually published last year, November 21st, because when data is released, you know, the news or certain people, they go through that data and then they begin to look at what things are highlighted, what's jumping out at them. And so the cases when it comes to Black women begin to jump out at them because the cases are higher for Black women for new cases. So let's check out this article. It says Black women make up majority of new HIV cases among women, but they aren't getting care. And so it says when Phyllis Malone was first diagnosed with HIV in 1996, she was ashamed. Incarcerated at the height of the epidemic, Malone was sure she would die. She'd put on her nightgown, lie down in her cell, and cross her arms as if lying in a casket. She thought she wouldn't wake up the next day. The stigma associated with the virus kept Malone, a mother of 4, from getting help from doctors or support groups. It wasn't until 4 years later, after her release, when a transitional housing worker told her to look in the mirror, talk to herself, and face her fear. She sat in silence for hours, unable to look at her reflection. Finally, she took a deep breath and told herself she can face her illness and her own story, no matter the stigma. I'm good enough. Nobody can tear me down, she said to herself. Now, Malone, 65, is an HIV prevention specialist. She runs HIV support groups and education efforts and destigmatizing the illness and preventing the virus at Sister Love, an Atlanta-based sexual and reproductive health nonprofit for women. So it's a little bit more I want to read, just a little bit more. Though men remain the largest group of people diagnosed with HIV, Black women make up the majority of new HIV cases among women. 7,000 women diagnosed with the virus in 2018, and Black women made up more than 4,000 cases, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, which reports transgender women in a separate category. Despite the staggering rates, experts say there is less awareness of Black women's burden of the virus, which is associated with men who have sex with men. 1 in 9 women are aware they have the virus, the CDC reports. This is about really reframing a narrative that HIV is only certain people and only in certain places, says Mark Meacham. So many Black women who do get an HIV diagnosis are shocked to find out. So that's all I'm going to read from that article. However, if you would like the link to it, I will definitely send it to you because it was very powerful. It's some personal testimonies in there. It's more research. It's more people that advocate for this. They're speaking. And this article was very important. And there was a couple of more that if you research, you'll see there's a few more that came out around this time when this data was released. However, after the articles were released, there was no more talk. And so now we come back around to National Black HIV, AIDS, and Awareness Day, and I want to bring it up again. I want to highlight that article because, like it said, we're shocked. And I can attest to that, even doing this, that people are shocked when they discover certain things, not even just HIV. And another thing that the article discussed was that woman sharing her story, saying she had to face her fear. And fear is one of the number one things that's keeping us from getting tested. No one wants to know. Oh, did anybody want to say something? Okay. Yes. So, during the year that I did this before, I was so shocked at how many people just simply did not want to get tested. And I would just ask, well, why? Why don't you want to get tested? And they don't want to know. And literally, that's what people would tell me, is that they don't want to know. They rather not know. But the results of us rather not knowing is this. And when the news highlights something like this, you kind of have to look at it as a little crisis, because the news is only going to talk about something that's newsworthy. They're not going to just bring it up for nothing. And so today I do want to talk to us about how maybe we should be responding in a crisis mode. But I have one more video that I would like for you all to watch with me, and it's not even the full video. This gentleman on YouTube, his channel is called Dawson Speaks, and he often discusses the taboo issues within the Black community that a lot of people discuss. Hello?
Yes.
Yes, hi, how are you?
Yes, because it was a box delivered to me accidentally.
A box delivered to you?
Oh, no problem. I'm sorry I opened it because, I get boxes every day.
Oh, wait.
I didn't look at the label until I said, oh, I didn't order this.
Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. I guess she was not talking to us. But anyway, I would like for you to watch this because he really speaks very bluntly and honestly. And he's actually referencing this article that I just read, but he goes a little bit deeper. And I would really encourage you to check out a few more videos on this channel if you're interested. I can send you links that directly correlate with what we're talking about today. So I'm going to share my screen one more time, and we're going to get to check out this video. And it's just a portion of it. If I can get back to it. Let me know if you see this with a thumbs up, and then let me know if you can hear it as well. Here we go. Oh, I don't hear it myself. Can you all hear it? Let me know if you can.
No, I can't hear it.
Okay, let me pause it. Let's see, what could that be? I'm gonna refresh this really quick. Oh, wow, it's really no sound. That is so strange. I don't know why this is not giving me sound this go round. I'm going to share my screen one more time. If it doesn't work out, then we just gonna move on, and I'll send you all the link afterwards. Let me see if I can get it to do it on my own without sharing my screen. Oh, you know what? I see why. There we go. All right, let me cue it back up. I'm so sorry. Thank you all for your patience with me as I try to do this. Okay. All right, so we're just about where I wanted to be at, which is like at the 6:45 mark. Okay.
This was released this month. And you know, December 1st is World AIDS Day, so I might as well go ahead and tackle this subject now. Black women make up the majority of new HIV cases among women, but they aren't getting care. And the article stated that though men remain the largest group diagnosed with HIV, black women make up the majority of HIV cases among women. 7,000 women diagnosed with the virus in 2018, and black women made up more than 4,000 cases, according to the Center in Disease Control and Prevention, which reports transgender women in a separate category. Despite staggering rates, experts say there's less awareness of black women's burden of the virus, which is associated with men who have sex with men. 1 in 9 women are unaware they have the virus, according to the CDC report. Numerous barriers contribute to the disparities in diagnoses and treatments, including structural racism, stigma, discrimination, homophobia, healthcare access. Those assigned female at birth, black women and teens and young adults have the lowest percentage of HIV medical care, according to the CDC. Now listen to this. Taking daily HIV prevention pills, PrEP, has been shown to be highly effective in preventing infection. And that's why you see these sisters right here on this picture that have their PrEP shirts on, because black women are coming together and they're talking about this, all right? But only one PrEP pill, Truvada, and the injectable Apretude have been approved by the FDA for use by women. Another pill, Descovy, was approved in 2019, but was tested on and approved only for men. So these black women in these organizations are coming together and they're getting the word out for black women to get tested. Come on, y'all, go get tested. And they did an awesome write-up on this sister right here, Phyllis Malone. She's an HIV prevention specialist at Sister Love, which is a non-for-profit organization in Atlanta. If you are in the Atlanta area, if you are a woman and you need to be tested or get checked out, please go to Phyllis Malone at Sisters Love. All right, Sister Love in Atlanta. Tell her Dawson sent you. Now, I know everybody wants and everybody deserves love, but you have to be honest with the person that you're with about your past and your health status. You just have to. Well, Dawson, I can't tell them right now. I feel they'll leave me if I tell them the truth. I can't face that right now. Well, look, God will put you in situations where you have to face it, like he did with this woman from Florida, Miss Bell. Miss Bell, she was stopped by the police and her companion was in the car with her. She had a backpack with her medication in it. And when the police asked what was in the backpack, she told them she had some stuff for pain for her back. And she also told them that she had her HIV medicine in the bag. However, Mrs. Bell did not tell her companion that she was HIV positive. And immediately when she started talking to the officer about what was in the bag, the man in the driver's side, he broke down crying because he didn't know that Miss Bell was HIV positive and she was arrested. Miss Bell was arrested on charges of an HIV-infected person having sex without informing a partner and possession of controlled substance. Men and women have to be careful out here. There are some people who are not going to be honest with you. Now, I have the story right there. You all can look it up. You all know I'm full of information. I don't just say this stuff for me to say it. You all look it up yourself so you know it too. Come on, that's not enough for me to know this stuff. You got to know it as well. And for you women, mostly it's been women, but I know men go through this too, who are in the church and you were married and you contracted sexually transmitted diseases, some curable and those that are not curable. I've gotten all your letters and you all know you all fuel me to do stuff like this because I know the church wants to keep this silent. And many of you women can't talk to nobody in the church. So you all come and give me those letters because you all know I'm going to talk about it on the YouTube show I created and cultivated. They're not going to make me shut my mouth. Now look here. Now that's my speech for World AIDS Day, which is on December the 1st. Boy, I'm telling you, I know they be getting mad at me. I ain't gonna stop. That's why I got my own show. I can say whatever I want. Until then, it's your guy Dawson. You all take care of yourself and each other. Go down.
Okay, I'm gonna come back. Y'all, I really like him because I like his no nonsense approach to things, and I do like his little laugh, his little snicker. But he really talks about it unabashedly. And when I listen to him speak about things, it encourages me, it gives me boldness to kind of talk about things that I normally wouldn't talk about. So a few things that he highlighted in that was you saw where he discussed the woman that was getting arrested apparently, and in speaking with the cop, she had to disclose what those medications were in her bag, which disclosed it to her partner that she was HIV positive. And I wanted to share that portion for a reason, because if you look through his videos, he's covered a lot of men that have been charged with a crime for basically not disclosing their HIV status to women and continuously having sex with them. But when I ran across that video, I said, wow, because I never saw one where a woman was charged, but she was. And it does show that there is a lack of communication between us when it comes to sex and the things going on with us. And some people really do feel like they don't have to share it with you, and you have to take responsibility for yourself. And so, like I was sharing earlier, when they put things out on the news like this, it shows that this is a crisis. This is serious. And so in this time, we can't behave the way we normally would in a less crisis time. During this time, we got to say, okay, I have to do my due diligence with this person that I'm with. Even if I'm in a relationship, it is still okay for you to say, let's talk about this. I ran across this article and I feel like maybe I should get tested, even if you've been in a relationship that it could have been 5 or 10 years. If you watch a few of those videos and even scroll through the comment sections, you will see where regular people have left comments of their life story and their testimony of how they were unaware. They were in monogamous relationships. We cannot look at this and say, oh, it's because Black women are loose, or Black women just out here, we need to just do better. If you want, and we can't continue to do that, because half of the stories that he does is on religious people, church people, pastors passing it to their first ladies and other women. So that still is not a reason to say, I'm not going to get tested. Once a year, as Black women, we got to get tested, period. That's off rip. Now in crisis mode, we got to do it a little different. And we may have to say, okay, I'm not in a relationship right now, but I meet somebody. First date, let's go get tested. Let's have this conversation. We're able to talk about a lot of things during those first conversations when you're meeting somebody. What's your favorite color to what's your favorite position, period. And one of those conversations need to be, well, when is the last time you've been tested? I was tested this such and such time. And then gauging how that person responds. Oh, let me see if I'm able to come back on camera and it act right. So if that person responds and say, well, because I'm going to tell you, I done heard some responses now. Oh, I've been tested, this such and such time. Well, have you had sex since then, or unprotected sex since then, since you've been tested? Well, you have to get tested again. This is the type of thing during this time, during this hour, we have to do that. You cannot leave it up to that person to even be honest with you or on that level. You have to take this into your hands and say, my level of care for myself have to increase. Whereas, yeah, I get tested once a year, but I may have a slip up here and there, or yes, I may meet somebody and I really like them and I really care for them and they seem okay. And so we kind of go with the flow of things. That is the way things have been. And so now we can't continue to do that. We have to say, okay, before we do anything, we both have to get tested. And then if our relationship ends, we get tested again. And before I get into another relationship, I'm getting tested. That is how we have to maneuver in this hour when it is showing that there is a crisis among Black women. And it is okay to have conversations with other Black women about this, checking in with the women that we love and care about when they're talking to us and sharing their sexcapades. You know how we talk. It's okay to throw in there, well, did you get tested? Was he tested? Well, it's okay to throw that in there. So anybody have any thoughts that they want to share?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so what type of advice would you give to somebody who is younger, like college age, maybe early late 20s, that if they are dating, and honestly, like that's the last thing that's on their mind. They want to go out, they want to have fun, and they just want to experience things, and they experience things with other people. And yes, we can stress wearing a condom and being safe and XYZ, but in reality, a lot of them, they're not going to use protection. If you're out drinking and you meet a guy, you take a guy home, if it happens, it happens. It's not going to be a conversation of, well, are you tested, while we're taking shots.
Right.
How would one kind of maneuver as a young adult in that environment?
I honestly would suggest that they get on PrEP, get on the medication that's there to, if you engage in that behavior where you're going to throw caution to the wind, get on the medication that makes it where your count is lower. And there's other medications that you can take, such as if you feel like if you slept with someone and then later on or right after they came back and said, okay, well, I do have HIV, you need to go and get tested. There's medication that they can take. I would make them aware of that.
Okay, and where would they be accessible to that?
They can, if you're here in Pasco County, there's a local community action program called VARK, and they offer free testing. However, outside of that, you can always start at your health department. Start at your health department. If you have a doctor, make a doctor's appointment and talk to that doctor, about your concerns, because that's something we don't do because we feel shame, to even discuss it. But it's okay. And I would let that young person know, like, just talk to your doctor. Tell your doctor that you want to do this and you need to get on this. That's how we have to talk about it. It's not a big deal. It really isn't. Go get the whatever preventative care is available, because you want to, encourage them to do that as much as possible if they're going to be engaging in high risk. And that's high risky behavior, and that's another conversation that, yeah, it may go in one ear and out, but we got to let them know, like, that's high risk behavior to, be out and throw caution to the wind when we're reading reports that the new cases are Black women. I wouldn't tell them that. I would really, really tell them that. So someone has put in here, okay, yes, MAACA VARK provides free HIV STD testing help with insurance, free condoms. And, you know, probably in Jacksonville, there's some places like that as well. So they're at 4216 Little Road, Newport Richey, Florida. So I would definitely encourage them to find out about that. Any more questions you had? Okay, that was good because, you know, I know that it to me, I would want to have that conversation, but you're right, younger people. And when I was younger, I was not. I was not having those conversations at all. I didn't care to do that, you know, until I had a close call, you know, until I had a close call, and then that sort of changed that or whatever. So anyway, there is someone on the call that would like to speak. Miss Sylvia, did you want to share about more testing and prep and things like that? Is she there, Miss Sylvia?
I am here. Thank you so much for hosting this event. I put everything on there. Can everybody see the address and what we offer at this location?
Yes.
4216 Little Road in Newport Richey.
Yes.
And we have free STD HIV testing, screening. If you need condoms, you can pick them up there. If you want a presentation, you can let Candace know when we come out and make presentations to churches and other places. If you can get a group together, we can do that and facilitate it for you. If you need insurance, we can get insurance for you.
Yep, absolutely. Anything else you wanted to share? Can you go over some of the prep? Because she was kind of asking about that. Do you mind?
Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? We offer prep at that location. Hold on, I'm typing. PrEP is a once-a-day pill that you take. It will prevent you from contracting HIV virus. And that's the main thing that we want, for women to not catch HIV. You don't know who these guys are, like those videos where we're saying so much about the different people who are exposed to HIV or have HIV. The lady who knew she was positive and sleeping with the guy, and the guy probably had a wife. So we have to always be mindful of things like that when people are out there having sex and stuff, unprotected sex. So that once a day pill, and all you have to do is get tested to see if you're positive or negative. If you're negative, of course, we'll give you the PrEP pill. You have to do blood testing every 3 months because we want to make sure that you're not developing any side effects from taking that pill. Taking a pill is no different than any other pill that you take. It has some side effects. Some people don't get any side effects, but some people do. None of the people we've given them to have talked about side effects. So it's a pretty good pill, and what we don't want is you to get positive. And the good thing is, if you go get tested and you test positive, we can get you into care. So at the same place on Little Road, you can get your PrEP. If you know somebody's positive, you can link them to care right there in Newport Richey. And that's what it's all about.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you, Miss Sylvia, for that. So now speaking of testing opportunities, later this month on the 23rd in Pasco County, we're going to be out having a testing opportunity at the East Lake Cathedral Church. And there was, I don't know if Marlo's going to still be able to come on, but he was going to come in and talk about that event and why we're beginning to do it and how often we're going to do that for the community. And it's different organizations within the community that's going to come together to provide resources in different areas. And so what I'm asking the community is I'm reaching out to jobs and organizations, asking for the employers and the employees to get tested on that day. So I have a few businesses that have signed up, and I'm excited about it. And I'm just hoping it'll be a big turnout of people ready to get tested. And we're also going to be recording PSAs, public service announcements. We're going to just be showing people how easy it is to do it, how less evasive it is to get it done. Because a lot of people be like, oh, blood, and get squeamish and things like that. And so we just want to show them it's nothing. And the last event we had, my son did it. You know, he went and got tested, had his little finger pricks and everything. And so that was it. And he's been tested every year. And I just tell him to let me know if he wants to. And we have to be like that with the people around him. We can't be, oh, you gotta get tested for. You know, we can't have those reactions. We have to be like, oh, okay, you're making a good decision. You're
and
making
one thing, Candace, I want to say is we have to learn to normalize any type of disease that we may have, whether it's diabetes, HIV, leukemia, whatever it is. It's treatable. We can live with it, and we need to encourage other Black women to take a test, talk about HIV, and do some things around it.
right. Yep, absolutely. I totally agree. Yep, because I did have to learn that having 3 boys is like, I can't respond to them in that way because they'll never come and tell me anything. They'll never come and share anything with me. So when, you know, he says he needs certain things or wants certain things, you know, we talk about it, but I'm not ever going to, in any situation, make it where, oh, you can't come and tell me anything or whatever. So I did have a few more questions that I was going to ask. You know, I had kind of asked it earlier, but I really would love to hear from you all as to why you think for just Black women, these numbers are high like this. And it's no right or wrong answer. You know, I feel like this is how we get the answers, because throughout the entire article, they really couldn't pinpoint why that is. So
well,
why?
because we take care of others. Hold on. We take care of others instead of ourselves. We are ashamed to get sick. Some reason or another, Black women feel like they can't afford to be sick. So, hey, if I'm sick, I just keep going.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we're all mamas and sisters and caretakers. And also it's also a bad stigma as far as your sexuality. Like, who is she been with? Is she like promiscuous, or is she messing around with somebody, you know, or those type of things that come with it as well. And you don't want that type of reputation. It's very dated to say, but it is true that people would feel like, oh, I'm going to be judged because I live a specific type of lifestyle, when that's probably not even the case.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of times it's not the case. It's definitely what I've discovered. It's not, you know, and especially among Black women, a lot of times they're in a monogamous relationship, you know, and just unaware, like the article was saying, you know, finding out, and it's a shock because you've been doing everything you thought was right. You know, you're in this relationship and you ain't cheated, you know. Oh, and that was a question I was gonna ask, but I didn't know if it would be too offensive, but I was gonna ask, how many of y'all been cheated on? You know, has anybody ever been cheated on? And because some women feel safe in relationships and we're not. And that's the thing. I stutter to say it, but because articles like this come out, I can't help but say that. Like, we've all been cheated on, so we know it can happen, you know. And how many of us been cheated on, and then that person has a baby, has a whole nother child, so you know there was no protection involved. And that's the times that we know about. There are probably times that we don't know about, and those are the times that really hurt women, when they don't know that that man has cheated and done whatever he wanted to do. Then he comes back. Now, the other day, there was this meme going around. I didn't watch this show, that BMF show. Is that what it's called? BMF or something. And they were showing the guy in two different scenes where apparently within 20 minutes or whatever, he had done been with two different women, and they were kind of making fun of it. Not for that part, they were making fun of it because they were like, he only lasted 20 seconds for both women. That's what they were laughing about, but nobody was even worried about the fact that he literally left one woman's house and then went home and barely washed probably before he did that. And that's so normalized. Nobody was like, nobody. And that's how it is. So y'all, we're coming to a close. I was trying my best to wait for Marlo to see if he was able to come in. I know also that Kathy Lewis, she previously ran for state representative. She was in, and I'm pretty sure she probably had a few words, but not a lot of time to share. But those people will be out at the town hall meeting on the 23rd at East Lake Cathedral Church of God in Christ. And so that's going to be at 6 o'clock that day. And there'll be a flyer going out and an Eventbrite for everybody to sign up. It's a free event. Of course, we'll have some refreshments and things like that. And it's just going to be a nice time to come together for that. So I feel like I may be getting ready to close out. Was there anything else you wanted to say, Sylvia? I don't know if she's still there.
I'm here. I'm typing. I'm just saying that we're doing an SOS conference here in Tallahassee on March the 24th and 25th.
Okay.
If anybody want to come, if you got a group of you ladies that you want to bring up and be a part of this conference, it would be greatly appreciated. It's free, but Ray Lewis starting to be there. If anybody know her, you can Google her.
Okay.
And see who she is.
Okay, definitely. I'll definitely see, if we could pull that off. I'm pretty sure it's a few women that wouldn't mind coming to support women and men, to be honest. So, yep, definitely.
Especially the church women, so that they can see that there are things that they can do in the community to help support other Black women.
Right. Yep. I'm excited to be working with this church. This is the first church that was like, yes, you can do this, because I got a lot of no's. A lot of no's.
That'll be a question of mine.
What?
How does one speak about or speak on safe sex in the church when sex itself is taboo?
Right. I just told them that I'm not talking about sex. I'm talking about HIV and AIDS, and how we can lower our numbers and care more about ourselves, because that's the main thing. And to me, when I sat and I was just focused on how do I talk about sex in the church, I don't know how to talk about sex in the church, but I know how to talk about HIV and AIDS and how it's impacting our communities and things like that, and present the preventative measures. And it's up to them at that point to decide, because I was reading a book, I wish I had it over here. It really discusses that, and it's so deeply ingrained, the shame that comes a lot of times from church, in our religious backgrounds, not God, but yes.
Oh, go ahead, Candace. I was gonna say, one of the things that I do when I go into church and facilitate HIV discussions, I use the scripture. I mean, there are scriptures that talk about sex in the Bible. If you abstain from sex, guess what? You don't have to worry about HIV. If a man marry a woman and he's just with that one woman, guess what? You don't have to worry about HIV. But if you cannot abstain, then you need to come and talk to us so that you're not spreading HIV to your virgins, to your wife, and your kids who are sitting here. You give them this false sense of security. Guys, you need to be tested. A lot of guys, pastors, they sleep with other men and they don't tell the woman. And I talk about women being so desperate that they just want a husband, that they don't think about themselves. And so how do we fix that in the church?
Right.
Yeah, a husband is nice, but if the husband like men, then what are we doing?
Right.
If I'm saving myself for a pastor and the pastor is sleeping with all the women in the church and other men, then what are we really doing?
Right.
So we need to encourage ourselves, and I use the scripture on them.
Okay, I need to get
I use the scripture.
Yeah.
Nothing's wrong with talking about sex. That's why it's such a stigma, because we don't talk about sex. So kids think that something's bad about sex. Nothing's wrong with sex. God said, be fruitful and multiply. So there is sex in the Bible. Use the scripture.
Right. Okay. Well, we're gonna see how that's gonna work out. I see that Marlo has entered. Hey Marlo, how are you? Are you there? We got about 5 minutes. Hey, we got about 5 minutes left. Yep, we can hear you.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? I'm sorry I'm a little late. I was at City Hall letting them have it.
Okay.
Yeah, they sworn a new police chief and stuff like that. But I just want to say hello to all my VARK and MAACA folks. I hope all of you are well. Miss Sylvia, I hope you are doing well. God bless you all. And Candace, thank you so much for doing this and really shedding a light and helping our brothers and sisters and all people in Pasco County become more aware and get tested. I just think that's so amazing, because like we don't have nothing like that out here. And we don't have brothers and sisters talking to each other about this important topic. And, it's needed. I had 2 people in my family that I know personally that have died, from AIDS. So it's near and dear to my heart. So I'm thankful that Candace keeps me in the loop, and I'm able to attend the World AIDS Day festivities at Spartan Manor that you all put on. They were so lovely. And I would like to also invite you all. We're having a town hall on the 23rd of February here, where we will be talking about issues like criminal justice and housing, some of the serious topics. Candace is going to come and talk to us about health and AIDS and everything that you guys are doing. And I just think it's a great opportunity for all of us to get together and to stay connected. I want to thank you all for giving me an opportunity.
So Marlo, can I ask you one thing?
You certainly can.
Yeah, by you growing up in Pasco, and I know you was just mentioning like, oh, we've never seen anything like that. What has it been like as far as resources and things like that available for testing? And just conversations for HIV in the Black community that you know of in Pasco?
I can tell you right now, as a Black man, there's a stigma. It's a stigma. I remember when I was growing up as a little boy and, asking about my great aunt and what was wrong with her. And, they were even scared to talk about it then. And then one of my great uncles, it was like some taboo subject. And I feel like it's still kind of like that in this part of the South. But I do see the conversation starting to change with maybe this younger audience of people. I'll tell you what, since MAACA and VARK and Candace, since I've been talking with you and you've been doing everything, the conversation's starting to pick up. People are starting to get tested. People are starting to have questions and inquire and want to know more, and I think it's about them feeling comfortable with someone that they can talk to and someone that they can, trust and confide in, because, sometimes people are nervous. They're scared,
Right.
Some people are just, they don't want to know. I literally had a cousin and I was trying to tell him, you should get tested. And he's like, oh, I don't want to know. I'll just drop that. I'm like, well, why would you do that? You could be infecting people. You could have more children. And, I was trying to share with him these examples, but he had that stubborn old, Black man mentality. I'm never going to the doctor. Mm-hmm. And that's something we have to change. That conversation has to change.
Definitely. Thank you for saying that. I feel like every time I talk, you got to be there to say that too, to the Black men, because that's exactly what I hear from them. They don't want to know. They don't want to know. And I'll hear that from women too, but a lot so from the men. So, that encouragement coming from other men to see that it's okay, I feel like will help, start more conversations. So, and Miss Sylvia, I'll definitely remind you of the 23rd event, because I would love for you to join. I think it's going to be a nice turnout, and we're going to probably need, a few hands on deck for the testing. So, but I think I'm going to get ready to close. If everybody is, all hearts and minds are clear and nobody has anything else to say. Yes, no, maybe so. All right.
Happy Black History Month.
Right. Happy Black History Month.
Happy
Thank you.
Black History
But
Month.
I do want to say our Black history is 365. Okay.
Right. Come on, somebody. Exactly. All right.
Every day.
Right. Yep. Well, thank y'all for having this conversation on today. I'm going to definitely save it, share it, email it to you all. I'll also email the link to that video and article that I shared during the presentation. Thank you for your time tonight. Y'all have a great evening. Peace.
You too.
Peace.